It's ironic, but this misunderstood force that almost ended my life at 5,000 feet above ground, once the engine decided to take some time off, can make you a multi-millionaire faster than you might think possible. And up until 5 days after this life-threatening flight, I didn't know how easy it is to get rich either. This force I'm talking about is the most powerful force in the universe. In fact, if it wasn't for this force, there would literally be no universe. It is what glues everything together. It affects the physical and non-physical. Actually, and few know this, even your thoughts are affected by this force. So, can you guess what it is I am talking about? Yes, gravity. Now, please pay close attention. Scientists in Japan have cracked open a groundbreaking discovery. The dorsolateral prefrontal cortex in our brain is doing something extraordinary. It's acting as a universal antenna for wealth, love, and health. This isn't just another study. It's a deep dive by the Japanese government into unlocking human potential and the key to a life of abundance. By harnessing this specific brain activity, we can attract precisely what we seek in life, overcoming any force that stands in our way, particularly the force of gravity, which acts as a manifestation blocker, as you will see in just a moment. By the end of this presentation, you will have access to a simple 5-day plan to activate your dorsolateral prefrontal cortex and attract anything you desire. Hi, I'm Jamie. 3 days after that little stunt that almost ended my life was my 15-year high school reunion, which I decided to go no matter what. The only way for that not to happen was if that little airplane took a one-way dive. And in all honesty, part of me didn't see it as such a bad option. Not sure how to explain this, so I'll do my best. You see, a lot had changed since high school. If you would have asked me the day we graduated, where do I see myself in 15 years, I'd told you happily married, with at least 3 kids and a successful career. In fact, and don't ask me why, all my high school friends back then thought I was the one going places. Unfortunately, that never happened. I was approaching my 40s, went through an ugly divorce, no kids, no career, and $50,000 in debt. It made my stomach turn, just the thought of seeing everyone's faces once they hear how wonderful my life has been. Despite these fears, something inside me knew that hiding wasn't the answer. I realized that this reunion could be more than just a gathering of old friends. It could be a moment of truth, a chance to stand proudly as myself and maybe, just maybe, change some perceptions along the way. So, with a deep breath and a heart full of hope, I decided to go. Plus, because I was currently searching for a new job, I saw it as an opportunity to network and potentially gain some connections. Maybe I could talk to someone who worked for a company that was hiring. I really needed a job. I had a debt of almost $50,000 and things weren't looking good at all. It was certainly a long shot, but I was desperate and willing to take a chance. On the morning of February 16th, I jumped in the car and headed to the address posted on the invitation. But then I realized something. The reunion party was being held at the Broadmoor, a beautiful 5-star hotel in Colorado Springs right next to the Rocky Mountains. The cost to rent out a space at this incredibly fancy resort must have been insane. And immediately, I wondered who had organized the reunion. It didn't say on the invitation, but clearly someone I went to high school with must be absolutely loaded now. So I drove to the Broadmoor and found a place to park right next to a shiny brand new green Lamborghini. I entered the beautiful hotel restaurant where the invitation told me to go and practically fainted at the sight before me. Every table in the massive 5-star restaurant was empty except for a large one in the middle, filled with 10 of my former classmates laughing and talking. As I walked over, someone noticed me and yelled, "Hey, Jamie!" Suddenly, everyone else looked my way, exactly the opposite of what I was looking for. I smiled and waved, then took a seat at the table. "How do you like the Broadmoor? I rented out the whole restaurant just for us." As I looked at who was talking to me, my heart just about dropped in my chest. It was a face I could have recognized anywhere. His name was Kenji. Back in high school, Kenji was the quietest kid in class. He was a second-generation Japanese immigrant, and his family was extremely poor. I remember Kenji being very skinny, shy, and quiet. He used to wear the same clothes, along with ratty shoes, and his hair always looked like he'd just fought a windstorm. But sitting across from me was an entirely different person. What an amazing transformation. Kenji looked strong, fit, and confident. Plus, seems the guy has gone from poverty to extreme wealth. I mean, just the Rolex he was wearing must have had a $20,000 or $30,000 price tag. I snapped out of my trance and came back to reality. "It's so great to see you guys," I exclaimed, looking around the table at the familiar faces. We spent the next 2 hours talking, catching up, joking, and reminiscing on our high school days. But when people asked me about how I was doing lately, I panicked. But you know what? And don't ask me why. In a split second, I decided to go all in. I remember my exact words. Well, I'm divorced, no kids, a job I hate, and $50,000 in debt. For a moment, time seemed to freeze. Everyone at the table paused, their expressions a mix of surprise and concern, as they absorbed the weight of my words. My heart was pounding. I braced myself for pity, awkward silence, or worse, ridicule. But what happened next was something I could have never predicted. Almost immediately, the room transformed into a haven of warmth and understanding. Smiles of empathy replaced the initial shock, and a wave of supportive nods swept around the table. Then Kenji stood up, his eyes reflecting a genuine respect. Raising his glass high, he said, "Life throws us curveballs, Jamie, but it's how we catch them that defines us. You're among friends here, and we're all dealing with our own battles." One by one, my former classmates shared their own stories of personal and professional struggles. Unfulfilled dreams, challenging relationships, and the pursuit of happiness against all odds. It became clear that behind the facade of success, everyone had their own burdens, fears, and insecurities. The atmosphere turned from one of apprehension to one of solidarity. Laughter and words of encouragement filled the air as we all found solace in our shared vulnerabilities. The fear and embarrassment I had felt melted away, replaced by a profound sense of connection and understanding. That evening, I learned that life's trials do not define us. Rather, it's the strength we find in honesty and the support we give and receive that truly matter. It was a mistake to underestimate the power of shared human experiences and the unconditional acceptance that can emerge from them. It wasn't just about overcoming personal failures or societal expectations. It was about embracing our truths, no matter how imperfect, and finding community in the honesty of our struggles. Walking out of the hotel, once the reunion ended, I immediately spotted that green Lamborghini I had parked next to. It was still sitting there. But this time, I saw someone jump inside, and you'll never guess who it was. It was Kenji. He noticed me as I walked over. "Hey, Jamie, thanks for coming. It was awesome to..." But before I could stop myself, the words escaped from my mouth. "Kenji, what happened to you?" I mean, in a good way, of course. Kenji gave me a puzzled look. "What do you mean?" "Well, when we were in high school, I paused, trying to figure out how to put it delicately. He smiled. "I know, I certainly wasn't driving a Lamborghini in our senior year. A few months ago, I started my own online business and it's really taken off," he said, answering my question. At that moment, I felt so many emotions raging inside of me. Happiness for Kenji for earning such a massive amount of money in such a short time. Hopelessness because of the debt I was in. I don't know why, but I broke down. I told him that my debt was a whopping $50,000. I told him the truth about the fact that I was barely scraping by. I told him about how I dropped out of college and blew all my money in my 20s. I told him I lived in a broken-down apartment I could barely afford. Basically, I told him my life was a mess. My words clearly hit Kenji hard. After all, he and his family had gone through their own financial struggles, so he probably knew exactly how I felt. "Want to go for a ride?" Kenji asked out of nowhere, pointing to his Lamborghini. I stepped into the luxury car, and we sped off. We rode silently for a good 10 minutes, cruising down a Colorado mountain road. Kenji looked like he was thinking deeply. Finally, he spoke. "I shouldn't tell you this, but 3 months ago, something crazy happened, and my family hasn't been the same since." With his eyes still glued to the road, he dove into a story so crazy I could hardly believe it. Kenji and his parents moved to America from Japan when he was 3, but apparently he had a grandfather who stayed behind. Turns out, Kenji's grandfather is a very well-respected Japanese neuroscientist, and from what it sounded like, he's been involved in some pretty high-level classified government experiments. Kenji said he rarely heard about his grandfather and the work he was doing. In fact, he told me his family hadn't heard from him in over 10 years. But then it all changed. And this is where it gets really interesting, so pay attention. Kenji said that 1 year ago, his grandfather showed up at their house with a large black briefcase. It was the first time they'd seen him in forever, and his arrival was completely unexpected and unannounced. Inside the briefcase were pages and pages of research and notes from a 10-year experiment called Chotaikoku. Before I could ask him what that word meant, he continued. Apparently, this research was the first of its kind, and right from the start, the Japanese government labeled it as classified. Why? Because the findings could potentially give someone a huge amount of power. And, of course, no government likes the idea of the public having more power than them. I was intrigued. At this point in Kenji's story, I had no idea what he was going on about, and I finally asked, "So, why are you telling me this?" Still, without eye contact, Kenji answered me, Because when you told me how much you're struggling, I saw myself in you. That used to be me, until I learned about the information in that black briefcase. It changed my life. And if you listen, it can help you change yours too. Needless to say, I shut my mouth and listened. Jamie, remember how we used to skip physics class? Well, me more than you. I hope you were there when Mr. Andrade covered Einstein's theory of relativity because I wasn't. It will help you understand what I am about to tell you. You know, Jamie, how we've been always taught that the key to attracting abundance is by aligning our vibration with that of the universe? That's right. Everything in the universe, including our thoughts, feelings, and actions, emits vibrations, I replied. Exactly, Jamie. The theory is that when we elevate our vibrations, we align more closely with the frequencies of abundance and success. By doing so, we become magnets for wealth, health, and happiness, drawing these blessings closer to us. The reason why most people are unable to manifest anything is because their vibration is not aligned with what they are trying to manifest. Have you ever asked yourself why this is happening? In other words, why this misalignment is occurring? Not really, but I'm sure I'm about to learn why, I joked. Well, let me ask you something, Jamie. What are vibrations? They are a form of energy, right? Yes, that's correct, I replied. Kenji continued, and what force in the universe affects all types of energy? Well, this is where it comes handy not skipping physics classes, I smiled. Gravity, of course. Exactly, Jamie, gravity. I wanted to make sure I understood what Kenji was saying. So, what you are saying, basically, is that gravity affects the energy of our vibrations, the same way it affects all other types of energy, which is why most people can't attract anything, right? Precisely. That's the root cause of most people's inability to attract anything. When the energies of your vibrations are clear and unobstructed, they are able to align with the frequencies of abundance and success. By doing so, we become magnets for wealth, health, and happiness, drawing these blessings closer to us. Well, Kenji, based on Einstein's theory of relativity, it makes sense what you are saying. Gravity affects everything. There is no energy that can escape gravity's pull. 100%, Kenji said. He then continued, connecting with the universe to get what we want is like trying to have a clear phone call. For that call to be crystal clear, there needs to be a strong connection both ways, without any crackling or dropping out. But imagine there's a constant noise in the background, like a loud static messing up the call. That noise is gravity. It's messing with the energy of our vibrations. And then he continued, but Jamie, here's the exciting part. We've found a way to clear up that interference, not by trying to fight gravity. That's impossible, as you just said, but by using something that works beyond the constraints of gravity. And that's sound. Sound, Jamie, operates on a principle that seems almost magical, but is deeply rooted in physics. They travel through mediums, air, water, even solid objects, in waves. These waves, when tuned to the right frequencies, can harmonize with the fabric of the universe in ways other forms of energy cannot. This harmonization is why sound frequencies are the solution we've been searching for. Sound frequencies, due to their wave nature, can resonate with the very vibrations of the universe itself. When these sound waves are carefully calibrated, they align with our vibrational energy, acting as a tuner that adjusts a radio to the perfect station. This tuning process allows us to cut through the gravitational static that muddles our intentions. Think of the universe as broadcasting signals of abundance, constantly sending out frequencies of prosperity and success. But when we introduce specific sound frequencies into our environment, they interact with our brain's energy fields in a transformative way. These sound waves have the power to realign our vibrational energy, effectively clearing the path for our intentions to be sent and received without interference. It's as if the sound frequencies act as a bridge, bypassing the obstacles that gravity poses to our energy fields and connecting us directly to the universal frequencies of abundance. Moreover, Jamie, Kenji continued, this isn't just theoretical concept. It's backed by extensive research on the principle of resonance, where two vibrating bodies in proximity to one another will begin to vibrate in harmony. Here, let me show you. Kenji took out his phone and went over some major studies backing what he was explaining to me. I'm talking about major universities here, such as Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Stanford University, University of Cambridge, Harvard University, and California Institute of Technology. Kenji paused for a moment, letting it sink in before diving deeper. Through brain scans, the Chotaikoku study researchers discovered areas in the brain buzzing with high vibrational energy. And guess which part stood out? The prefrontal cortex. Specifically, the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. This area, Jamie, it's our brain's antenna to communicate with the universe's vibrational energies. I've always been fascinated with the human brain and its hidden capabilities, so I wanted to know why specifically the prefrontal cortex. Well, Jamie, it's because this part of our brain is involved in planning complex cognitive behavior. Personality expression, decision-making, moderating social behavior, stuff like that. Essentially, it's where our intentions and desires are processed and sent out into the universe. But here's the catch. He leaned closer, lowering his voice. Currently, this human antenna, if you will, isn't connecting well. As I explained earlier, the gravitational noise muddles the signal. Again, it's like trying to tune into a radio station only to get static. The researchers knew they needed to clean up this static. Their objective was clear: to pinpoint sounds that could bypass the disruptive influence of gravitational noise on our mental processes. The initial step involved a comprehensive analysis of the vibrational spectrum. For this, they employed advanced acoustic models alongside neuroimaging techniques to observe the brain's response to a wide range of sound frequencies. Now, this is very important. The logic of this process was rooted in the principle that every object, including the human brain, has a natural frequency at which it vibrates. When a sound wave of a matching frequency hits, resonance occurs, and this is key, amplifying the original vibration. So, by identifying frequencies that resonated with the prefrontal cortex, they theorized they could enhance its capacity to align with universal energies. Now, this alignment was expected to facilitate a clearer, more potent transmission of an individual's intentions to the universe, free from the distortion caused by gravitational interference. After extensive experimentation, the team identified 2 specific sound frequencies that had a pronounced effect on the prefrontal cortex. When individuals were exposed to these frequencies, neuroimaging revealed significant increases in activity within this region, suggesting an enhanced state of resonance with universal vibrational energies. Unfortunately, the solution with the 2 sound frequencies worked, but only partly. The first frequency cleared the mental static, like wiping a slate clean, while the second boosted our brain's signal to match the universe's vibes. However, they didn't fully nail it because our minds are like ever-changing radio stations, constantly shifting, from happy to worried, calm to stressed. So basically, these frequencies got us tuned in to the right success station, if you will, but they couldn't keep us locked on it because our emotions and thoughts kept flipping channels. This realization pointed to the need for a third frequency, or a different approach altogether, one that could adapt to the dynamic vibrational shifts of human consciousness, ensuring a sustained and effective communication channel with the universe's energies, regardless of fluctuating mental states. Kenji said that, unfortunately, at this point, the government stopped funding. The project was expensive, and with no practical results yet, they decided it was time to end it. It was his grandfather's life project, and he knew they were extremely close to the objective. He couldn't let it go and decided to self-fund the research of the third frequency. It practically took all his life's saving. He realized that the key to the third frequency lay in its adaptability and responsiveness to the brain's ever-changing vibrational state. This frequency needed to be dynamic, almost intelligent in its ability to calibrate itself in real time to the fluctuations of human consciousness. He labeled the third frequency the adaptive resonator. It worked by harmonizing with the existing brainwaves, irrespective of their current state. No matter if the brain was in a state of stress, beta waves, or relaxation, alpha waves, bringing them into a state of coherence and stability. By stabilizing and amplifying the brain's natural resonance, this frequency ensured that the alignment achieved by the first 2 frequencies was not only reached, but also maintained. It acted as a sort of lock-in mechanism, keeping the brain's vibrational energy consistently attuned to the desired state. This ensured that the brain remained in a state of optimal resonance, regardless of internal or external disturbances. When combined, the 3 frequencies created a synergistic effect. The first frequency cleared the mental static, the second established a strong initial connection, and the third maintained and enhanced this connection. This triad of frequencies ensured that the individual's brain remained in a state of harmonic resonance with the universe, paving the way for consistent and effective manifestation. Kenji explained that this is how he was able to go from completely broke to multi-millionaire status in almost no time. Jamie, unfortunately, my grandfather passed away, but before he did, he managed to give us the results of the Chotai Koku 10-decade-long study, 3 CDs, each containing a sound frequency. At this point in Kenji's story, I was blown away. This was so much information to soak in. It was late and I still had a long drive home, so I asked Kenji to drop me off at the hotel so I could get my car. As I opened the door to step out of the car, Kenji grabbed my arm and said, "Look in the glove compartment." I popped open the compartment and there were 3 CD cases sitting there. Kenji told me to take a look, so I grabbed one, opened it, and saw the disc inside. It was completely blank, except for one word scribbled on the top, Cho Taikoku. "Hey, that's the same word from the experiment. What does it mean?" I finally asked. And what Kenji said sent chills up my spine. Cho Taikoku means superpower in Japanese, which was exactly the purpose of this experiment, to discover the secret of how we can use the brain to give ourselves a natural superpower. The CDs contained the 3 frequencies one needs to follow. He continued. As I was driving home, I started playing What If with myself. What if I tried those 3 audios Kenji talked about? What if they actually worked? What if my debts vanished, and I could finally buy a house or even travel the world? The possibilities seemed endless, yet so distant. By the time I reached home, it was 3 a.m. I was exhausted, so I decided to wait until the next day to try the frequencies. The next day, in the quiet of my living room, I played the first frequency. I closed my eyes, trying to feel something, anything. The second day, I did the same with the next frequency, and then the third. There was a sense of calm, but nothing more. I felt silly, sitting there, waiting for some miracle. After 5 days, nothing had changed. I was frustrated. I called Kenji, asking why it wasn't working. I explained that I had listened to all 3 frequencies, one after the other, just once. Kenji laughed gently, apologizing for not being clearer. He explained that each frequency was meant to be listened to separately, one per day, for 3 days. Then, on the 4th and 5th days, I should listen to all 3 in sequence. The idea, he said, was to gradually build and then solidify the connection, like constructing a bridge, one beam at a time, and then reinforcing it. I followed his instructions and tried again. Each frequency seemed to resonate deeper within me this time, as if they were laying a foundation and then building upon it. 3 days after I followed Kenji's instructions, my world began to shift in the most extraordinary ways. It started with a phone call that seemed to come from another world. My estranged aunt, whom I hadn't heard from in over 2 decades, had left me an inheritance, a staggering $1.2 million. It was surreal, almost like a distant fairy tale coming to life. I remembered her fondly from childhood, but time and distance, had pulled us apart. I had no idea why this happened, but that was just the beginning. During a routine weekend visit to my parents' house, we decided to tackle the cluttered attic. As we went through dusty boxes and old memories, I suddenly spotted something metallic. It was an old coin, tarnished by time, hidden under a stack of forgotten newspapers. My dad suggested we take it for evaluation. We did. Now get this, it was a rare collector's item, a Morgan silver dollar worth $74,000. A few days later, I was working out at the local gym. I had always been passionate about fitness. I even had a level 2 certificate in fitness instructing. Suddenly, the gym owner approached me with an offer that seemed out of this world. The head trainer was moving on, and they wanted me to step into the role until they could find someone else. I was stunned. Amazingly, the position ended up being permanent. Incredibly, though, the owner of one of the gym franchises was struggling and looking to sell. Sensing an opportunity, I took a leap of faith and invested. 2 months later, membership soared by 400%. I was on track to making $500,000 in monthly revenue, with almost half of it as profit. Those 3 simple frequencies had opened doors I never knew existed, leading me down a path of unexpected fortune and fulfillment. I simply had to share the frequencies with others. I started with my cousin Casey. We've always been close, and he was always there for me in my toughest times. He worked at this tech firm and has always been a hardworking and dedicated employee, but was never recognized for this. Within 12 days of listening to the frequencies, a shift occurred. Casey was called into an unexpected meeting where, to our astonishment, was offered a promotion that came with an amazing salary increase. Triple, to be more exact. And honestly, it wasn't just about the money. This was a role that also brought the respect and recognition Casey deserved. But it didn't end there. Casey had a small side business, a creative shop selling unique t-shirts on Etsy. It had been more of a hobby than a source of significant income. Yet, almost magically, the store's traffic surged by almost 700% in no time. Orders started pouring in and sales skyrocketed. Within weeks, the Etsy store was generating $30,000 a month, leading to Casey establishing 4 more online shops. And then there's Alex, who lives a couple of floors above us. Alex has been a struggling writer for a long time, facing rejection after rejection from publishers. We shared the tracks with him, hoping they might bring some positivity. 3 weeks later, he knocked on our door. I can't even describe to you the smile he had. A major publishing house had offered him a book deal worth $170,000. Following this incredible experience, we decided to share the tracks with our family members. And one by one, they tuned into their millionaire element. And one by one, their lives began to change in remarkable ways, almost instantly. Soon enough, word spread, and friends of friends started inquiring about these sudden positive transformations. That's when we realized it was time to bring this life-altering discovery to the wider public. Kenji was on board with the idea. So, I'm thrilled to introduce to you the Millionaire element. It's the only audio track program proven to activate the millionaire inside you, and the beauty of it, it does so effortlessly. There is really nothing else like it out there. While many are relentlessly chasing wealth, talking about grinding for hours on end every day, you can simply slip on your headphones for a few minutes each day for 5 days and let the abundance flow towards you. All thanks to the breakthroughs in vibrational science and the power of carefully crafted sound frequencies. Consider for a moment the conventional paths people take to achieve wealth. Taking chances on the lottery, a long shot to say the least. Jumping into cryptocurrencies without a clear understanding, and facing the risk of market crashes. Pouring money and time into advanced degrees in hopes of climbing just one more step on the career ladder. Working multiple jobs only to find themselves exhausted and financially stagnant. Or falling prey to get-rich-quick schemes that leave them in a worse state. I don't want you to have to go through any of that. That's exactly why I'm so eager to bring Millionaire Element to your attention today. It's time to get off that relentless financial carousel. No more working endlessly for an unappreciative boss because your bills dictate your life. I understand how it feels like an impossible task to get ahead in a system seemingly designed to keep you down. There always seems to be something that holds you back, keeping you barely afloat. But remember, it's not your fault. The system is structured this way. Now, with the knowledge of the millionaire element within you, you can join the numerous people who have used this program to utterly transform their financial lives. And by the way, I have an exciting update for you. Recently, we've enhanced the Millionaire Element program by integrating 2 additional essential components. After the initial success of the Millionaire Element, Kenji, inspired by his sister's vision of the vast potential hidden within their grandfather's groundbreaking Chotai Koku research, decided to take a bold step forward. Understanding the critical need to explore and harness the full spectrum of these discoveries, Kenji, with his sister's encouragement, invested a significant portion of his resources into creating something truly remarkable. He set out to establish a state-of-the-art studio, a sanctuary dedicated to the exploration and testing of new sound frequencies. This wasn't just any studio. It was a nexus of innovation, equipped with the latest technology designed to delve deep into the vibrational science that underpins our very existence. Kenji's sister saw beyond the horizon, recognizing that to truly unlock the potential of their grandfather's work, they needed a space where the boundaries of sound and vibration could be pushed to new heights. This studio became the birthplace of new possibilities, a place where the synergy of ancient wisdom and modern science could coalesce into something transformative. It was here, in this crucible of creativity and discovery, that 2 key frequencies were conceived. These additions to the Millionaire Element program weren't mere afterthoughts. They were the result of meticulous research, experimentation, and a deep-seated belief in the power of sound to shape our reality. If you act now, these upgrades are yours without any extra charge, as we've chosen not to raise the price for the initial 30 days, a period which is still ongoing. After this, the program's price will jump to $119. The first component is the Focal Pro frequency, and is a cornerstone of your journey toward monumental wealth creation. I want you to think of the Millionaire Element as a powerful engine driving you towards wealth creation. Now, the Focal Pro frequency is the turbocharger that significantly boosts this engine's efficiency. It fine-tunes your brain's ability to focus and produce, transforming your wealth creation journey from a challenging expedition into a frictionless voyage. This unique frequency is engineered to elevate your concentration and productivity to unparalleled levels, ensuring that every action you take is a strategic step towards achieving your financial ambitions. You will be maximizing the impact of every effort with unparalleled precision and clarity. The second newly released component of the program is Creativity X. Think of it as the nitrous oxide to your wealth creation engine. In your new journey to financial abundance, boosted creativity is an unbeatable edge. Creativity X is designed to unblock and double your creative potential, inspiring innovative thinking and problem-solving abilities that can identify and exploit opportunities invisible to the ordinary eye. This frequency encourages your mind to explore uncharted territories, to invent solutions that break barriers, creating new paths where none existed before. Think about it like this. The synergistic effect of combining the Millionaire element with the Focal Pro frequency and Creativity X is like a well-oiled, finely tuned race car, poised at the starting line, ready to take off towards the horizon of wealth creation with an unmatched advantage. While the Millionaire element aligns your vibrational energy with the universe's abundance, the Focal Pro frequency and Creativity X fine-tune your brain's functionality in crucial areas necessary for effortless and frictionless wealth creation. Alright, now that you're aware of the transformative power of Millionaire element, you might be wondering, how exactly do I use it? And I'm thrilled to answer this because it's incredibly straightforward. So, when you wake up, grab your morning coffee or breakfast, put on your headphones or earbuds, and simply press play on your device. Listen to each of the 3 unique frequencies, one per day, for just a few minutes. Everything's prearranged for you. Then, for 2 days straight, you listen to all 3 frequencies one after the other, each day. For example, suppose you start on Monday. You listen to the clarity frequency. On Tuesday, you progress to the amplifier frequency, and finally, on Wednesday, you finish with the adaptive resonator frequency. On Thursday and Friday, you listen to all 3 frequencies one after the other each day. Then carry on with your life as usual. It's that effortless. From there, you allow the Millionaire element to work its magic. And when it comes to the Focal Pro and Creativity X sound frequencies, simply listen to them once a week whenever suits you best. Soon, you'll start noticing a shift in your life as wealth, success, and abundance begin to flow your way, just like it happened for me and countless others who've embraced the Millionaire element. However, I must warn you about something important right now. This page might not be available for much longer. This is critical because Millionaire element is exclusive. You can't find it anywhere else. Here's the concern. Certain factions of the Japanese government who were in charge of developing the first 2 Chotaikoku frequencies aren't happy at all with that is going on. They can't do anything legally, as Kenji's grandfather passed away. But that doesn't mean they are not trying to do things that, well, aren't very legal, to say the least. The elite fear that if this secret becomes widespread, it could disrupt the current balance of wealth. Remember, the concentration of global wealth isn't an accident, and there are those who'd prefer to keep these powerful tools under wraps. But despite the pressure, I'm committed to sharing this with you. This isn't about me. I've already achieved financial freedom. I could easily retreat to a life of luxury and solitude. But I believe in a higher purpose to share this breakthrough. No one should struggle financially now that this secret is out. You know, I recall the days of just scraping by, and I firmly believe everyone should have access to their Millionaire element. That's why I'm not going to charge you an exorbitant fee for this life-altering program. Many have suggested I could price these tracks at a premium, given their value. But that's not my goal. My mission is to spread this knowledge as far and wide as possible before it's potentially suppressed. So I'm offering Millionaire element to you for less than the cost of an average dinner out. This nominal fee is simply to cover the creation of the tracks and maintaining this platform. So, if you're even remotely interested in unlocking your potential for wealth and abundance, seize this opportunity to secure your copy of the Millionaire element before it's too late. I understand if this might sound a bit unbelievable, that you could access this transformative set of frequencies for less than what you spend on your weekly coffee. Let me remind you of my mission. It's to share the Millionaire element with as many people as possible. So yes, this incredible offer is 100% genuine. When you click the Order Now button, you'll be directed to our completely secure checkout page, where you can safely enter your order details and payment information. And the moment you confirm your order, you'll receive your digital audio tracks via email within about 2 minutes. Oh, and don't forget that, because it's digital, you're saving an additional $8 as there are no shipping costs involved. And there's something vital I need to share with you. When you choose to embrace the Millionaire element through this website, you are fully protected by our 365-day 100% money-back guarantee. Here's how it works. Simply click the button below this video and secure your order for the Millionaire element. Once you download the audio tracks to your smartphone or computer, commit to listening to the tracks for 5 days, as I mentioned earlier. I am 100% confident that within 10 to 30 days you'll start witnessing an incredible shift in your financial life. I can't predict precisely how it will unfold for you, because the way wealth manifests for each person varies, reflecting your unique vibrational energy. But you'll definitely recognize it when it happens. So, if you're ready to join those who have transformed their lives and built genuine wealth, I encourage you to activate your millionaire element starting today. I am certain your life will be profoundly enriched by taking this step. However, if for any reason you find that this transformation isn't what you expected, or if you're not thoroughly satisfied with the changes after activating your millionaire element, simply email us and we'll promptly refund every cent, no questions asked. In fact, our money-back guarantee is valid for 365 days. That's a full year. This means that by clicking the button below this video to place your order, you're essentially opting in to experience the millionaire element with absolutely no risk. You have a whole year to discover what life can be like once you've unlocked your millionaire element. I'm taking all the risk onto my shoulders because my goal is to help as many people as possible while this site is still accessible. And honestly, it might not be up for much longer. So go ahead, click the button below, and embark on this journey with zero risk to yourself.